When most people think of incels, otherwise known as involuntarily celibate men, they usually picture men's rights activists, pickup artists, or just straight up misogynists. At first glance, this self-help book fits all those stereotypes. The Way of the Superior Man is a men's studies bestseller that critics call, quote, disgustingly misogynistic, sexist pseudo-intellectual, and something you'd hear in an incel chat room. But as a girl who's now read and even annotated all 200 pages, it actually left me with the opposite impression. To be fair, the author David Data doesn't always use the most politically correct language, so I totally get why phrases like penetrate your woman with love would put off some readers. But once you get past all the funky lingo, you'd be surprised by how insightful the core ideas are. Take the issue of America's romantic recession. Why exactly are so many young men and women not dating, getting married, or having sex nowadays? You'd expect a book written for men, particularly celibate men, to side with its readers. If you're like this guy, or this guy, or this guy, wouldn't you want to be told that the reason you're single is because women are just too picky and entitled to appreciate you? Well, this book does just the opposite. Instead of woman hating, it lays all the blame on men for not doing enough. Specifically, it criticizes modern men for becoming polarized towards two types of masculinity. At one extreme, you have what Data calls sensitive and caring wimps who are all heart and no spine. This explains the rise of Gen Z and millennial stereotypes like matcha males, metrosexuals, soft boys, femboys, soy boys, and performative males. This type of guy will talk to a girl he's into and think, wow, she's so friendly, she must be flirting with me. Whereas the girl is thinking, this man is so soft and unthreatening, there is no way he's straight. All too often, a guy like this will confess his feelings too late and ruin what was supposed to just be a wholesome, platonic friendship. But how about going to the other extreme? Data refers to this as macho men who are all spine and no heart, which is consistent with a lot of manosphere strategies for attracting women, like looks maxing or negging. But if you look at lists of the top 15 least attractive male hobbies to women, almost every single one is manosphere coded. From arguing online to debating to literally manosphere. The problem isn't that the manosphere makes guys less physically or sexually attractive. If anything, looks maxing does superficially improve a guy's appearance. But it's like a woman who becomes fitter by developing an eating disorder. If she gets thinner by starving herself or throwing up her food after every meal, does that really make you attracted to her on a deeper level? So I think the real turnoff of manosphere trends for many women is that it feels like a pathology of low sexual self-esteem, where being insecure is actually worse than whatever caused the insecurity. So if being a red pill manosphere bro is a turnoff, but being a vegan femboy is also a turnoff, what's the sweet spot for your average bachelor who feels screwed over by the dating market? The Way of the Superior Man basically spends 200 pages telling its readers what this Bumble ad sums up in 8 words. A vow of celibacy is not the answer. Keep in mind, this book's target audience isn't just any straight guy, but straight guys with some degree of psychological trauma relating to women. People don't talk enough about the fact that men, even with successful careers, can feel like women are their biggest insecurity if they face rejection their whole lives. This book could have just validated this sense of injustice, but instead it basically says, you're just not trying hard enough. Oh, and you need to get over your mommy issues. If a man feels that there aren't enough women, he is simply negating his relationship to the feminine. This sense of starvation is usually rooted in a man's early childhood relationship with his mother. This book calls itself a spiritual guide, not a practical guide, so the wording can sometimes feel like new agey gobbledygook, but the essence of what it's saying, don't live your life without women, is actually pretty radical considering its audience. Could you imagine a self-help book for women saying, ladies, your life means nothing without men. Oh, also, get over your daddy issues. In fact, in another chapter, Data even goes so far as to tell his readers, don't be an incel, you have more agency than you think. You could choose to give up your gift as a renunciate celibate, living with only the most minimal engagement with the world and women. Or you could choose to engage the world and women fully. Otherwise, you will begin to reject, resist, and resent the world and women. This idea of taking agency might even explain the growing popularity of geomaxing or finding a girlfriend or wife abroad. It might be tempting to scorn this as a life choice that only a really undesirable guy would make, but honestly, if that's what it takes to avoid being radicalized towards misogyny or fringe ideologies, isn't that a better outcome for everyone in society? As men's studies expert Scott Galloway puts it, without the guardrails of a relationship, young men behave as if they have no guardrails. There is nothing more dangerous than a lonely, broke young man. One thing we've never seen in recorded history is a majority of young men, 63% to be precise, being single, and 45% having never even approached a woman in person. Dismissing this as men's fault or toxic masculinity is not only unproductive, but it misleads everyone into thinking male issues don't affect the rest of society. As social scientist Richard Reeves likes to say, helping the other half of society doesn't mean giving up on the ideal of gender equality. If that comes in the form of an unconventional self-help book with thousands of 5-star reviews from male readers raving that it helped them find the love of their life, I'd call that a W not just for men, but women too. It certainly doesn't have all the answers for men in crisis, but it's a step in the right direction, and I hope someday more people outside of its target audience will appreciate what it's doing for the future of manhood in America.